Good morning. I'm Marcus. I'm Marcus Coker with Marcus Coker Design, and it's a pleasure to be here. On a personal note, I grew up in Van Buren. I live in Fort Smith, and for over 20 years, I've taught swing and ballroom dancing. From 2005 to 2016, I owned Momentum Dance Concepts in Van Buren, and it was during that time that Barbie was my life coach. So who better, right? I can honestly say that Barbie is one of the kindest, truest, and most encouraging people I've ever met. So we're in for a treat today. I'd like to begin by saying that I'm grateful to Barbie and to you for this opportunity to talk about interior design, specifically redesign and what it can do for you. I try to focus on the concept of redesign since when it comes to our spaces and our homes, very few of us are starting from scratch with unlimited budgets. When I had my dance studio, people would show up a week before their wedding and say, "We'd like to look like Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey." In design, people come to me and say, "What can you do with $1,000? In both cases, more time and more money would be ideal, but I always say we can do a lot with that. My job as a redesigner is to take what you already have, your grandma's dresser, your futon from college, and your lamp from IKEA, and somehow make it all work together. Let's see here. Work.
It should work.
Not working.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Oh.
Okay. I spent the better part of 2 summers ago helping a client de-hoard and mostly move things around from here to there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, where'd it go? It dropped out, but that got a lot better. Maybe it'll pop up in a second. We took rugs from one room to another and pushed couches around, pulled knickknacks out of her attic, painted furniture. So often the answer to your design problem is placement. Knowing where things should go and putting them there. As one designer says, don't replace, rearrange. In terms of where things should go, sometimes the answer is the trash. And we could spend all day talking about hanging on, hoarding, and letting go, or rather, not letting go. The client I helped de-hoard was into office supplies, pens, pencils, writing pads. She had a Rubbermaid tub full of Post-it notes, and I threw some of them away. Later, she was having an anxiety attack and pulled some of them back out. And I said, "You have so many of them." And she said, in all seriousness, "But these are the pink ones." Over the summer, she rallied and threw away over more than 40 contractor-sized bags of trash. It was a big deal. But suffice it to say, the relationships we have with our things and our possessions are complex. So in my job, I really do my best not to judge someone for what they own or what they cling to. I've personally collected and clung to so many things since I was a child. When I was 4, our family home burned down, and for decades, I didn't want to get rid of anything. My aunt says that's the age when I started arranging my stuffed animals according to height, and for the longest time, I'd go into a tailspin if things weren't in their proper place. Once when I was 9 or 10, I was playing at a friend's house, and his room was such a mess, I started cleaning it. He said, "Mom, come here. Marcus is a fanatic." What I know now is that when life gives us more than we can handle, when our emotions are too much for our bodies to bear, when chaos comes, we will seek order. I'll say that again. When chaos comes, we will seek order. We're simply built this way. It's the way the universe is structured. We'll pick up the phone and call an encouraging friend. We'll clean out our cabinets. We'll start a new routine. We will, in effect, perform an outward act, a ritual, in hopes of effecting at best an outward and at least an inward change, or simply as an act of acceptance. And good designers and good homemakers do this intuitively. The seasons of life change and they update their throw pillows. They get new place settings. They lose a job or a loved one and they think, "I really should repaint that wall or donate the clothes that no longer fit. I need a new space. I'm a different person now." Conversely, others get stuck. The seasons change, but they don't. Their homes don't. Their hairstyles don't. One friend told me earlier this week, "My couch has been in the same place for 11 years. And I said, "You have my permission to move it." Not that anyone needs my permission. It's your stuff. But sometimes people need guidance. You can sell your home on your own, but a good realtor most likely has experience and knowledge you don't and is worth the 6%. Likewise, a good designer will see things you don't, things either you weren't aware of or simply became blind to because we all get used to the way that things are. I've met mothers who are so busy trying to feed their children and get them to school and gymnastics that they don't have time to shop for furniture, let alone figure out where to put it or what to do with their husband's absolutely hideous chair he refuses to get rid of. I told Barbie I didn't want to just pitch myself today. I didn't want to just tell you about my social media pages. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Marcus Coker Design. And that I charge $75 an hour, $150 for a 3-hour consult, or $500 for an 8-hour day. I told her I'd like to give you something that you can personally use. Because we all call somewhere home, and we deserve to feel good there, at peace there, free there. We all live with objects, and whether we realize it or not, we are all affected by the space we live in and the objects we live with. Ask the spouse of a hoarder. You feel the same in a cathedral as you do in a bowling alley, the same in Walmart as you do at Abercrombie & Fitch. But you don't. The reason is design. I wish I had the time today to talk about how to transform a space. Here are some pictures, before and after photos of a room in a home that I used to live in with my former roommates. Earlier this month, we turned it into a nursery for their soon-to-be firstborn child. And I wish I could walk you through the design concepts like balance and contrast and rhythm that are the technical things that make this room work, but I can't. And thankfully, you can Google those things. What I do have time to offer is perhaps a different perspective. The idea I'd like to sell you on is to not only influence your mood, but to also serve as a container, if you will, for the season of life that you're in. For example, 7 weeks ago, I ended a relationship and in the same night became homeless. For 4 solid weeks, I stayed with friends and family, but I didn't have a place to call my own. Because I've always lived with other people, I kept joking, did you know that you can survive 42 years without owning a towel? But on the inside, I was terrified. Thankfully, 3 weeks ago, I found a place. It's a duplex I'm renting with gray floors, gray walls, gray ceilings, and gray curtains. Landlords and homeowners, please stop doing this. Anyway, because the relationship that I left was extremely chaotic, I chose something steady, a neutral color palette in my bedroom, blacks, golds, and browns. At first, I used my red blanket. It was really red. But then I ditched it because I knew I needed less excitement in my life. I knew one way I could get it was to spend $40 on a cream-colored bedspread at TJ Maxx. This is another idea that I want to sell you on, that you can create calming spaces even when your life gets turned upside down, especially when your life gets turned upside down. You don't have to wait for calm to come to you. You can bring order to chaos. If you can't, I can help. I promise there's a way. Also, you don't have to wait for a crisis to redesign your home. You can move your couch just because you feel like it, or because it's been in the same spot for 11 years. You have my permission. In the original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, one of the boys is talking to a straight man about trimming his nose hairs. He motions to his own immaculately cared-for face and says, "This doesn't just happen." When Barbie was my life coach, she used to say, the man on top of the mountain didn't just fall there. So in addition to knowing that a space can influence your mood and that you can create a space to influence your mood, I'd like you to know that if you walk into a space and immediately feel welcomed or at home or peaceful or relaxed or reverent or turned on or inspired or excited, that didn't just happen either. Someone put some thought into it. Someone put some time and money into it. Someone may have even hired a designer. A word I like is deliberate. My aim is to make your home functional, beautiful, you. And that takes thought and intention. And that's how I'd like you to approach creating your home, not haphazardly, but with forethought, with order. Perhaps with a heated toilet seat. Oh my gosh, if you haven't tried one, I promise your life will never be the same. But I digress. Good design isn't rocket science, but it isn't an accident either. Lastly, I'd like to sell you on the idea that you don't have to break the bank or give up a year of your life in order to get the space that you'd like. Barbie and I talked about this idea of the quantum, that small changes can make a big difference. You can start by moving your couch or putting out fresh flowers, get a new shower curtain, or reframe an old picture. Buy a heated toilet seat. Your rear end will thank you. I thank you for listening, and you can find out more or contact me via these cards, which are on the food table in the back, and I think Barbie's going to pass some out. Also, I'll be around for the class, so feel free to ask me questions during the breaks. I'd love to talk about your space and your home. I wish you all the best. Thank you again.